Hello and welcome to Sportuccino's Fact or Fiction. I'm Richard Parr as we review and look ahead to everything going on in the world of sport. We're live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Periscope and at sportuccino.com, and we'd love to get your views on everything that we're talking about today. Please get involved using the hashtag Sportuccino on Twitter, and also get involved in the comment sections on YouTube, Facebook, and on Periscope. We would love to get your views because this is your show. We've got so much to cover. Plus, coming up on the program, I'm going to give you an exclusive first look at a very special video that we've created here, looking back at our road trip earlier this year in Cape Town, as we look ahead to another road trip in 2018. You do not want to miss that later in the program. But you know what? Let's get straight to it. Let's start playing Fact or Fiction, and I'm going to introduce my guest to the program, returning for his second appearance of the season. I'm delighted to say that Harry De Cosemo is here. Harry, welcome to the program. How are you doing this Monday morning?
I'm good, thank you, Richard. Thanks again for having me on. It's great to be back.
So, Harry, what have you been across this weekend? What have you been up to?
International football, slower weekend, as I'm sure you're aware, but enjoyable all the same. At least England qualified. I know that they've got a lot of criticism for the way they performed, but no repeats of the 2007 under Steve McLaren, so that's a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I was starting to feel old, Harry, when I realised that was 10 years ago, the old Wally and the Brolly.
Yeah.
And the other thing with that is, I'll be honest, I didn't see Sunday's game, and I almost did it under protest, just at the really poor performance of Thursday's game against Slovenia. It was very disappointing. Did you watch the Lithuania game? What did you make of the performance?
Same old, again, slow, lacking tempo. I did like the fact that Southgate made a few changes, particularly Harry Winks. And I know that Harry Winks has got a lot of criticism for being in the squad, or the decision to put him in the squad got a lot of criticism. But I actually like the idea that we've got a player who can pass the ball forwards in the squad. I think personally I would have liked to see John Joe Shelby in the squad, but you can't have everything. The worrying thing, as Ian Wright said on the TV, was that these are the games you try and you express yourselves, and England aren't doing that. So what's it going to be like when they face the Germanys, the Italys, the Frances and the Spains? That's the real worry, I think.
Great stuff, Harry. Well, let's play Fact or Fiction. Here is our first statement on our Twitter page at Sportuccino. Harry Kane is England's only world-class player. Fact or fiction?
Fact. If anyone's world-class, it's definitely Harry Kane. I don't think you can make a case for anybody else, but you can certainly make a case for Kane. It's up for debate. I don't know if he's 100% there yet. I know there's a lot of people who are saying that he needs to move away from Spurs. I did think that I wrote a piece on that a few months ago, but actually I think I've changed my mind on that. I think he actually is where he can flourish at Spurs. He's the talisman. He's the talisman for England now. He's been England captain over the last couple of games. There's been a thing across Europe and across the world where the top player in even the teams like Argentina and Brazil at times have been the captain. That can be the same for England now with Kane. His goal-scoring record's fantastic. He's up there with Ronaldo. He's up there with Messi, better than the pair of them in terms of goals to game, I believe. So, yeah, for me, there's no doubting that he's world-class. Nobody else is, so I'd have to say fact for that one. There's no argument you can make for anybody else, which is quite a sad indictment considering that 10 years ago, as we mentioned, that team that McLaren failed to get to the Euros was full with world-class players, and this team sadly isn't. So yes, definitely a fact.
Our next topic is Scotland are genetically behind other teams. Fact or fiction?
Fiction is possibly the kindest word you could say about this. I think it's a bizarre comment. I think it's a sort of it sounds desperate the way he said it, the timing of what he said, but it's not the first strange thing that Gordon Strachan's ever come out with in a press conference, believe me. So doesn't surprise me that he's come out with something like this. But at the same time, as you said, you can pick bigger players. He was talking about not being able to to battle with set pieces and things like that. And he mentioned Spain, that they were the only smaller team. Well, in 2008, Luis Aragonés picked all the smaller players because he worked out that that was Spain's best opportunity to win the tournament and go far. Scotland obviously aren't concerned about winning tournaments; they just want to get there. And as you say, they can pick taller players. They can change their style. Not everyone the way he was talking, like everyone in Scotland's under 5'10". That's not how it is at all. There are there's certainly things he can do. That's a very strange thing to say. And I didn't understand it at all. I thought they were unlucky to not qualify in the manner they did. They picked up late in the group. They were only knocked out on goal difference, but that had nothing to do with genetics. He wouldn't have been saying that if they'd got through. It's just because they went out, and it's a very strange excuse. So definitely fiction.
It is a bit of a strange excuse. I don't think Pep Guardiola complained too much when he had a whole team of small players at Barcelona. I think they did pretty well regardless, Harry. So I'm not really sure that is the best excuse. If he wants to say that they're not technically good enough, perhaps, if he wants to maybe argue that some of the league isn't strong enough, perhaps. But it really wasn't a time, in my opinion, that he needed to start making excuses. It's not even in the Jose Mourinho method of I need to protect the players here. In fact, he's almost, I don't know what he's blaming there. It's just all a bit strange to me. Bit confusing. All right, Harry, let's move on to one more topic before I show our viewers this new video that I've created. And we are now looking ahead to the game on Monday between Wales and Ireland. Wales need to win or get a draw to reach the World Cup players, but if Ireland win, they will reach the playoffs. So the fact or fiction question is, Wales will reach the World Cup players. Fact or fiction, Harry?
Fact. I think that they are unbeaten, I believe, in the group stage so far. I think they had 5 draws and 1 win before they went on a fantastic run. They've done it all without Gareth Bale as well, which proves that they aren't just a one-man team. They've got Aaron Ramsey, Joe Allen, Joe Ledley, Hal Robson-Kanu, who all seem to play out their skin for Wales. Chris Coleman's got something really good going, as we saw at Euro 2016 as well. So for me, it's Wales have enough to get the point. Ireland have not been very consistent in this group. Wales have been hard to beat. That's all they have to be on Monday night, tonight, and I think that'll be what they are. I don't know if it'll be a game full of flair and quality, but they don't need it to be, as I've mentioned. They just need it to be a disciplined performance, which they'll put in. They've got that spark of quality, which was evident in Georgia last week with Aaron Ramsey. I think that'll be enough, and I think I'm going to go for at least a Wales draw, and that'll take them through. And I think they'll be a big threat in the playoffs as well. So that's a fact for me. Yeah.
I believe if they do go through, they will be one of the seeded teams, which could mean Wales against Northern Ireland. But I'm going to agree with you as well. I think Wales will go through. I think tonight's game will be a draw. I don't think Wales are very good without Gareth Bale. But I think being at home should be enough to get them a point against Ireland. I don't think they'll win. So I'm going to go for a draw, but Wales to go through to the World Cup playoffs. And then it's just a lottery. We'll see who gets who. That could be very interesting. All right, Harry, thanks for getting your thoughts so far. We've got 2 more topics to come on fact or fiction. Harry will be rejoining us in just a moment. But before we continue with fact or fiction, I want to tell you that earlier this year we went to Cape Town, South Africa. We hosted the show there for 2 glorious weeks. We got to taste the delights of the cuisine, watch some world-class sport. We got to see wildlife, listen to class music, and we're looking to do Sportuccino on the road again in 2018. And we are looking for brand partners and sponsors. So if you want to get involved, please send us an email. That's sportsdesk@sportuccino.com, and then we can see what we can do together. If you would like a little taster of what we could get up to, let's have a look at what we did in Cape Town earlier this year. Good morning and welcome to Sportuccino. We are live from Cape Town, South Africa, the beautiful Signal Hill Camp Bay.
The drive is really to take football back to the people, and it's something special. It's not just power hitting straight down the ground. He's picking off singles, he's running well between the wickets.
You really could see that race for the top four hotting up.
Oh my God!
I'm starting to put on a little bit of the holiday weight because the food and the drink in Cape Town is fantastic. Favourite food?
It has to be a very Cape Townian thing that's called a Gatsby. I'm not sure if you've had one yet.
Zoli's is my favorite restaurant of all time. You buy your meat, however much meat you want. I want 20 rands chicken, I want 30 rands chops, whatever. They braai it for you at the back. They barbecue that meat for you and they bring it to you afterwards. Everything about Zoli's is just uniquely Cape Town.
Prawns, calamari, mussels, fish. I can go on.
All the seafood. We're listing seafood.
I love South African music.
We've had to move the camera in, out, shake it all about, do the okey cokey. The only problem is sports journalists who then write these sensational headlines and we all start believing them, and yet we've probably both done it.
I'd make a lot of drop catches, I think.
I'm supposed to do this quick fire. Well, do you know what's worse is getting to the European Championships and being knocked out by Iceland.
Where's the dramatic music? Because I need like a turn.
I've been Richard Parr, you've been watching Sportuccino. Goodbye for now. So there you have it. That was Sportuccino's road trip in 2017 in Cape Town. We're looking to take the programme on the road again in 2018. If you'd like to get involved, send us an email, sportsdesk@sportuccino.com. We would love to hear from you. All right, we are playing fact or fiction. So I'm going to welcome back Harry De Cosemo. Harry, welcome back. Just before we move on, we got one comment on the live YouTube page saying Kane is such a great striker, which of course we have discussed earlier in the programme. We've got one more topic of football to discuss. Let's see what it is. We were just talking about Wales, whether they'll reach the World Cup playoffs. Now we're going to ask, Argentina will qualify for the 2018 World Cup. Fact or fiction, Harry?
I might go out fiction for this one. I think that they're currently sixth. I think they have to finish in the top five. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have to finish in the top five to get into the playoffs, and that means that they have to win in Ecuador. Ecuador is a very tough place to go because of altitude, but Brazil only got a draw there. There was a picture with them having to use oxygen masks after the game, which tells you all you need to know. Argentina obviously have enough quality on the pitch. It's quite amazing that they always seem to struggle in qualification. It's not the first time that this sort of thing's happened. Their quality in the past has got them through. They've obviously got Lionel Messi, the likes of Di Maria, Dybala, Icardi, Aguero when he's fit. They've got so much quality, but they're actually not very good in attack. They've only scored 16 goals in qualification this campaign. They've conceded 15, so they're not too bad at the back. But they've drawn the most amount of games in qualification as well. I don't see them actually getting the win that they'll need to have a chance of getting in the top five. So I actually think that they'll miss out on the World Cup, which is a complete travesty, given that Jorge Sampaoli is one of the best coaches in South America. He'll have an impact later, I'm sure. But obviously, with no Messi at the World Cup, that'll be an absolute travesty. They were the World Cup finalists in 2014, but that was mainly down to Messi's quality. He's not been able to shine as much this time. I don't think he'll do it, and I actually think that they will miss out on the World Cup.
Well, I'm actually going to say the opposite to you, Harry, and I believe they will make it. Fact, I think it is going to be tough for them. I think, as you mentioned, the when they're playing in Quito, when it is at that altitude level, which it is hard for teams to cope with. But Argentina have had 3 draws in their last 3 international games. And there's a really good article on ESPNFC.com by Tim Vickery, their South American correspondent. And he was saying that in those 3 games, Argentina's opponents literally just were on the back foot, playing banks of defence in midfield. And he is suggesting Ecuador have got nothing to lose. They've got young players who want to impress. And in fact, it might allow a bit more space for Argentina to exploit. So that's part of my thinking. But the other part is, it's Lionel Messi. And I think he is such a world-class talent that when it needs a moment of magic, a moment of brilliance, when a team needs someone to step up, he can do it. And I know it necessarily wasn't him in that famous Barcelona Paris Saint-Germain game from last season of Champions League, but he was obviously part of it. That was probably Neymar more than anyone else. But I just feel that Argentina in that moment can do it. I think they will reach the World Cup. I don't think they'll be very good. I think Messi could probably take them as far as to a quarterfinals or something like that. But I don't know. I've just got an inkling. He's just a type of player, Harry, which I don't think you can ever count out. But we will have to wait and see.
Agree. Yeah, no, I do agree with that. But as I say, I just think it's a bit too late, and I'm desperately hoping I'm wrong.
Well, we'll wait and see. I believe it's on Tuesday, the match between Ecuador and Argentina and the rest of the last round of qualifying fixtures in South America. All right, we're going to move away from football for one last fact or fiction. We're going to talk about Formula One. Following the Japanese Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton now has a 59-point lead at the top of the drivers' standings. He is coming close to being confirmed the world champion. There's 100 points remaining in the next Grand Prix. If he wins and Vettel finishes lower than 5th, Hamilton will have won more world titles than any other British driver. So, Harry, our statement is Lewis Hamilton is Britain's greatest ever F1 driver. Fact or fiction?
I'll start this off by saying I know very little in comparison to, say, football about Formula One. Couldn't tell you about many other British Grand Prix Formula One drivers, but I will say fact, just because even if I did, the stats you just read out, 59 points ahead, 100 to go. If he does, he'll have won more world championships. That is just a fact that makes it so hard to disagree with it. He's in the modern sporting world, he's an icon, as a sporting icon, but he's got he's most marketable figure in Formula One. He's so far ahead, he's so confident, he's got everything about him. He's one of those people, I know a lot of British people are sort of on the fence about him because of his personality, but he's one of those people that you can really think, yeah, he's world class. He genuinely is probably the best in the world. I think, and I don't know if any British driver before that has really grabbed the attention that he does now. He's helped by the modern era, social media and everything, but he's grabbed the attention more than anybody that I've ever known in Formula One, including Schumacher. Granted, I'm on the edge, I'm on the periphery of it, but I definitely say fact for me. He's got everything going for him, and I'm sure he'll do it again this year.
I'm going to be slightly not controversial, not the right word. I'm going to completely agree with you, Harry, but I'm actually going to question the timing of this statement, which was actually written by me. So I'm going to say fiction, but only on the mere fact that when he wins that title, I think he could be considered the greatest ever. I know it's mathematically possible, and I'm probably just being a little bit random with this, but I'm going to say fiction because he hasn't won it, but as soon as he wins it, I think, just for the numbers alone, just for the fact that he's
so
won
he's saying,
more than...
Is it 3 weeks' time we come back and we have discussion again?
I have to drag these things out, Harry.
Yeah, no, I can understand.
Exactly. Join us in 3 weeks where I change my opinion from fiction to fact. But I think he would. I think he is probably the best in history, and there have been some really good drivers. You know, Damon Hill, for example, in the last 20-25 years as well, winning the world title. I think what you said also of of his character as well. I think there is a bit of an innovator in him, and I think that there is that. What I really like is how he wanted to change the press conferences, bring it more social media orientated. I think there have been arguments over the last few years that Formula One is a little bit behind in the way it should be digitally produced and everything like that. So it'd be interesting to see what effect he might have on that going forward. We've got a good comment from Tom Ross on the Twitter page, though. He says he drives the greatest ever car. So you have that argument as well. The Mercedes team is pretty incredible. You've seen what they've done with Nico Rosberg as well last season. The argument is always, is it the machine or is it the man? And that.
But he's always been up there. He's never not been there. From as long as I can remember watching or keep, seeing it in the background. He's always been up there, regardless of what car he's had. So, yeah, I completely agree with he's got the best car. But for me, the other thing I would say is that he also manages the celebrity side of it. It doesn't get in the way. He goes for parties with Neymar, has had celebrity girlfriends and things like that, but he's never got in the way. So I think he's been able to manage everything perfectly. And yeah, for me, he is the best.
Fantastic, Harry. Well, it's been really good to get your thoughts. Just before you go, I'm just going to bring up a couple of the comments we're getting through on the YouTube page and on the Periscope page. Just had a comment on the Periscope page saying Harry Kane to Real Madrid. Interesting. We've got a comment here saying, also from Joey Jett, Mbappe is better than Neymar. Okay, I don't know where that's come from. I'll get a quick answer on that, Harry. By the look of your face, you're saying,
Well, if you talk about when they were 18, when they were the same age as Mbappe, I think Mbappe is certainly probably the best young player since probably Messi at that age. But you can't, with what Neymar's done on the international stage and what Mbappe has yet to do, I think it's a tough question to really side with Mbappe on that one for me. But everyone's entitled to their opinion.
And one other point we've got on the YouTube page, back to our Harry Kane discussion, which was our top story today. Harry Kane is England's only world-class player. We've got a comment here saying, if Kane wants to be a world-class player, he must prove it in the Champions League. Is there a little bit of truth to that, Harry?
How does he prove it? Because he's scoring goals. He's not. It's not like he's not scoring goals and not taking games by the scruff of the net. He helped them beat Dortmund in match day 1. Match day 2, he scored a hat trick. I agree that he needs to prove it in the Champions League. But if you're saying that he needs to win the Champions League with Tottenham, that's unfair. But yeah, he needs to score goals. But that's what he's doing. So I think if he's not world class already, he's very, very close to being proven that he is.
Well, thank you so much for your thoughts today, Harry. Just before you go, just remind us where we can find you online so we can get more of your top knowledge. And I believe you've got an article coming out today.
Yeah, I wrote a piece for Sportuccino on Andrea Pirlo. He retired, or he just has announced his decision to retire this week in December. So I wrote a piece on him that should be coming out today. I've got another piece coming out today or tomorrow as well. You can follow me on Twitter at Harry De Cosemo. I'm also on YouTube under the same name. Please subscribe to my channel because I need all the help I can get with that. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter. It's probably the main place to find me.
All right, Harry, what I'd like for you to do after this show is to send us a link to your YouTube, and we'll put it on our YouTube page as well, and hopefully we can share the love and spread it all like that. Harry De Cosemo, thank you so much for being on Sportuccino, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.
No problem. All right.
Really good to speak to Harry on today's Sportuccino. What did you make of all the things that we've been talking about? Harry Kane is England's only world-class striker. We would love to continue this conversation on our Twitter page at Sportuccino. And of course, you can fill in the comment section here on YouTube. And please go look at the rest of the episodes at sportuccino.com. Plus, we will make this as an audio podcast on iTunes, so we're absolutely everywhere. And if you like what we do, please share it and tell your friends. All right, I've been Richard Parr. I'll be back next Monday at 11 a.m. UK time. I look forward to speaking to you then. Until then, go and listen to the Best in the World podcast on iTunes, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Goodbye for now.